Now, specifically, what this case is about is what rights do you have to your games if you die? Hi everyone, it's Isaac Shutt, and I have another legal article for you today. And this one actually does involve estate issues, and it probably involves almost all of us. Now, on the face of it, you're going to think this doesn't apply to me because on the face of it, this legal article is about games and gamers. And you might go, Isaac, I'm not a big gamer unless you count Wordle or Words with Friends or things like that. But actually, this case involves not just gamers. This case really does involve everyone. So bear with me and you'll see what I mean. Basically what happened is there's this legal case involving Steam games. And Steam games is like hugely popular. I mean, probably one of the most popular gaming platforms. And it's from a gaming company called Valve. And so here we have an estate case between Valve and an estate. Now, specifically what this case is about is what rights do you have to your games if you die? And it's interesting because here in Texas, we have determined that, your X's and O's, like your digital stuff, is real stuff. Like it's a personal property, just like your keyboard or your mouse or anything else. That's personal property. Those are things that you own and you could pass down through your will. Well, our state determined years and years ago that your digital stuff, like your X's and O's embedded in the computer, those are personal property items that can be passed down through your will or trust too. So in this case, you've got some estates that are saying, hey, these gaming libraries, all these X's and O's that are in the computer, those are important to the survivors, and those survivors ought to be able to get those gaming libraries through a will or a trust. And then on the other hand, you have Steam that says, no. Actually, what the deceased owned was a license. They didn't own the actual game. So I remember back when games were, when they kind of first came out, really, I remember Atari and Nintendo and all that kind of stuff. And in those cases, you had a physical thing, right? You had a cartridge that you put in, or you had a PlayStation disc. And so that's kind of easy to think of as a thing that you own and that you could pass through your will, because you can say, that cartridge belonged to me, and if I die, that cartridge goes to this other person. Well, we're kind of in a new age now where these gaming libraries don't exist, in a tangible sense. They exist just inside of a computer. And so a lot of these gaming companies say, wait a minute, when you buy the game from us, you're not buying a thing like a cartridge or a disc. What you're buying is only a license. And guess what? That license expires when you expire. And so, it's interesting. All of these, when you make a purchase and you just can't wait to click the I accept button on the terms and conditions. A lot of times in that terms and conditions on that computer program or that piece of software, you've done it a million times. You know what I'm talking about, right? When you buy the thing and it asks you to accept all the terms and you don't read it and you just hit click, as fast as you can. I accept so I can, play my game or whatever. Well, sometimes in all of that language, it says, guess what? What you're buying is not personal property. What you're buying is a license, and that license expires when you expire. So after you die, your estate can't get anything because there's nothing to get. The license just vamoosed, it's gone, it doesn't exist anymore, and so there's nothing to get. And so I bet if you went back and looked at your user agreements or license agreements or whatever it might be titled as, I bet if you go back and look at those gaming purchases that you've made, I bet you almost all of them are going to say that it's a lifetime license only. You don't have true personal property in that gaming library, you only have a license and it goes away when you go away. What can you do about this? What can you do? Well, one thing you can do is you can leave a mechanism to provide your username and password to your loved ones. So, even though that license expires when you pass away, most of your gaming system companies, they don't know that the original license holder has died. So where this really comes to be is, the person who originally acquired the license, has a username and password, they have their lifetime license, and then they die, and then the surviving, the family or whatever, they don't know the username and password. So they go knocking on the door at, Valve, and they say, hey, I need that Steam gaming library, but I don't have the username and password, but gimme. And Valve says, no, I don't have to give you, because the lifetime license is gone. I don't have to do anything. But the workaround is, if you leave your username and password for your loved ones, well, then you can just use that. And Valve's probably not going to cut you off, because they probably don't even know that the original license holder is deceased. So that's just kind of a practical workaround. A lot of people are now using these, LastPass type websites to save all of their username and passwords, and to provide a mechanism through those, portfolios where you can store usernames and passwords to be able to pass those on to the people you designate when you pass away. And I think that's really important, because a lot of times people think of, saving their usernames and passwords as just for you, because you're forgetful, and every time you change your password you got to add more characters, and it's a lot to keep up with. And so people kind of think of, I need to keep a together place with all my usernames and passwords for me. But maybe it's not just about you. Maybe you need to have a central place to keep your usernames and passwords for, what if you pass away? What if you become incapacitated? And what if you have a gaming library that's worth a lot? If you have a mechanism to get those usernames and passwords to somebody else, it doesn't just vamoose.